Hello everyone here, Squee here, currently a level 7 Berserker, and I would just like to go over a couple of Berserker builds with you, as I see a lot of videos and most of the Berserker builds I see are pretty similar in common, and I would just like to go over a couple more variations that I have that have worked very well for me. My first build is the similar build to everyone else, which would be the damage build. Uh, As you can see here, my stats, I have block damage resistance down because I don't think it's that big of a deal for Berserker. As yes, I do a lot of blocking, but in most cases I'm dodging attacks anyways and don't necessarily get hit that much. My stamina regen is maxed out here, um, as I want to make sure I maintain a lot of stamina in this build, and then revive is the secondary stat. Execution health regen, I actually don't care much for execution health regen because if I'm in a team deathmatch, chances are if I win my first fight, I'll have the chance to run to a shield power up or a health power up before I get to another fight anyways. And if I am fighting more than one person, I probably won't get the execution off anyways to get that health regen back up. Block damage is maxed out because I think block damage is a fantastic stat. This being maxed out has saved me more times than not, as I have killed many people through their blocking. Sprint speed in this build is the secondary stat. You will see why it's not the maxed out stat, as most of my feats are pretty much, it will increase my sprint. Debuff resistance in this build is big for me because I hate having my damage reduced and whatever else those obnoxious purple buffs are that people put on me. This build, you can see I'm not really too concerned about my revenge, as this is a quick get in, get out kind of build. Exhaustion recovery is pretty big though, because if you do run out of stamina, you want to get back in the fight as soon as possible. Throw distance, I actually would like to be my first stat here, but I don't have the weapon to do that. So when I do, throw distance will be the first stat here, and revenge mode attack will be the second. This is not a revenge build, so you can see I don't put too much concern with points into revenge. Feat cooldown for this build is pretty big, as all of my feats are active. And then of course you have maxed out attack, stamina as the second, and defense as last. This is the high damage build that I have. You can see my feats for this build are Sprint, Bear Trap, I believe this is Fury, and Berserk. So everything revolves around increasing my speed, increasing my damage, and if need be, slowing down the other person. Yeah, this is not a 108 gear score yet, as I do not want to upgrade a couple of weapons because I am working on changing them for other builds and messing around. Moving on to the next loadout, loadout 2. This you could see is a revenge build, a very, very tanky revenge build that works very, very well. You can see a lot of the stats are similar. Stam regen, very important. Revive speed second. I don't care much for block damage resistance. Execution health regen, for me, it's just not a stat that I deem all that important. Block damage again maxed out, one of my favorite stats. Sprint is second. Then you will see that my debuff resistance here is down to almost nothing because I now care more about revenge mode duration and exhaustion recovery. My exhaustion recovery is still maxed out, or is maxed out for this build because, again, I want to get back into the fight as soon as possible, and the revenge mode duration is quite long enough there. Going back here, you can see that the throw distance is now down to the third stat, and the revenge mode attack is up, and my revenge gain is maxed out by injury. Moving over to the next, my revenge gain by defense is maxed out. I want to get revenge as much as possible, and then my revenge mode defense is secondary. The feat cooldown reduction is not so much, as most of my feats here are passive, so it's not that big of a deal. You can see that I opted to go low attack here, as I am a tank in this build. Defense is almost maxed out. I actually did not max this weapon out because I don't want to lower my attack any more than it already is. So the defense here is good, and the stam cost reduction is also decent here as well. This build works very well. You might think too that your attack is so low, but your attack doesn't matter, because once you get into your revenge mode attack is nice and high anyways. Your whole idea is to be in revenge. This is a great build. It's worked wonders for me. You can see the passives for this build. Let's take a look. The feats for this build is Bounty Hunter. So I'm gaining health and stamina whenever I kill somebody. And revenge attacks, so again, more revenge. I'm filling my revenge even more. Then I have throw and axe dealing moderate damage in this build, because when I'm in revenge mode against 3 to 4 people and I kill 1 or 2 of them, and one of them tries to go and res the person I just killed, I want to be able to throw an axe at them and stop them from resing. And then of course Berserker, because this is one of the best feats that you can get, in my opinion. Going on to the next build, again, is a revenge build. Loadout 3. This is also a revenge build. This is a 108 gear score revenge build. You can see that the stats are identical to the one before, except here I have the defense and the stam swapped with the attack. The reason that I did this is because, well, simply depending on the game mode that I'm choosing to play, the stamina is really not that big of a deal for me, as I choose this for slower game modes. And I say slower game modes, like if I'm going to play a Dominion and I'm just going to point camp, I may use this build over the other build. Again, when you go into revenge, you don't really notice exhaustion all too much anyways, so this build works good for Dominion. These are my builds. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see gameplay with all of the builds. Ask any questions that you may have, and I am working on other builds as well. Let me know if you would like to see my other builds that I am working on, as I am constantly messing around with new things, feats wise, builds wise, and everything else. Again, let me know if you'd like to see any gameplay footage with any of the builds, and whichever build gets the, I'll say, most comments below, I will show footage for that build. Thank you very much.